Well, welcome back, everybody, to a very, very special podcast of Shards and Shenanigans. I'm your host, Christopher.
I'm your co-host, Kyle.
Yeah, and we've got some special guests today.
Very special episode with some very special guests. I think if any episode were to get downloads and views, it's got to be this one.
For sure.
Because no one wants to hear us. They want to hear our special guests.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I was just going to say it'd even get more likes if they could see us.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, that's some good feedback. We're thinking about
true.
that possible Patreon access level kind of content, because we are on camera, it'd be
That's
just
true.
another step to record this. So that's a great call out. I guess we'll introduce our first special guest then. Can I have the privilege to introduce Kyle's mom? Hi, Kyle's mom.
Hello. Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it, and as you know, we like to shout out our moms. Kyle, we have another special guest. Can I give you the honor of introducing?
I would be honored. So, second special guest, but not second in our hearts. Tied for first is Christopher's mom. We've got her on the pod. We've got both of the moms. Say hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
How's everybody this afternoon? Is it okay to say happy Sunday?
Oh,
That's fine.
We can say that. We can say that here. Yeah. It'll be, a Sunday in time and space, depending on how long it takes us to edit this. Maybe Happy Tuesday when this comes out. Hard saying, not knowing. We're in the land of the unknowns. We can release this at any time. But that's what's great about special content.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we're very excited to have you both on. As Christopher mentioned, we like to shout you out in all of our episodes when we're giving thanks to our listeners, and it's been very special for us to obviously do this podcast, but to also have both of you read the books and also listen, stay kind of up to date and current with the podcast. And so, I would say probably some of our biggest supporters, biggest listeners for sure.
10 out of 10.
And so, just quick little bonus episode where we're just going to kind of pick their brains on some things. And I'm ready to rip if you guys are.
Sure.
We're ready over here.
We're ready.
All right.
All right.
So let's get some basics out of the way. So, very similar to Christopher and I's relationship with Sanderson, my mom, Kyle's mom, has only read the Final Empire, Mistborn, and she has not moved on to other books. So we are both current with the podcast, current with the books where we're at as far as Shards and Shenanigans. And Christopher and Christopher's mom, where are you guys at?
Well, I think we are both current. Did you get Isles of the Emberdark? You read that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think we are current in the Cosmere of all of Sanderson's writing. He's very prolific. He's got lots of little sub series as well. I think the man can't stop writing something. I don't know. I appreciate his work ethic. He produces quite a bit of content. But yeah, we are current and frequently like to debate and figure out different secrets, and there's questions in this first book that we still don't know the answers to. So it was really fun to get to do this read through again. What did you think about your second listen through of Mistborn Final Empire?
Well, yeah, I think that I don't know how, Kyle, you and your mom are, I guess, reading, quote unquote, reading this book. I have never read any of the physical books that Sanderson has written. I've listened to all of them. I spend many hours over the last 5 years, I guess, on the road, and so I listen all day. So I could actually be listening for 8 hours. So I can consume lots of books pretty fast. But I think that the fun part about this podcast is the opportunity to kind of relearn it and get reintroduced to it and enjoy some of the things that slipped my mind or I just didn't appreciate on the first go round. And because you do lose some of it if you're listening to it and driving down the road, you got to take an exit. And so you are here or somebody's behind you and honking, you have to lose your attention. And sometimes I have to go backwards and sometimes forwards. But after the last, after your last podcast, I asked Christopher to get me his copy of the book so that I could reread the last chapter and reread the epilogue. Because in the podcast, there were things that I had not appreciated when I listened to it. Right. And when you guys were talking about it, I'm going, I don't remember that. So then I went back and totally reread it and then had 10 questions to ask Christopher, just so that I was very clear before we could move forward on what the reality or the quotes, quote unquote, reality of the book was.
Yeah, so it sounds like, so you had the physical book.
I did.
And could you just describe, so I remember when you first picked it up and you hadn't, we started the podcast and you hadn't really started the book yet or the podcast, and you were excited to do it and you just didn't have the time yet. And when you did start reading, I was like, oh, cool. I'm glad she's doing it. She's going to be able to jump on board. And you kind of devoured the book. Can you talk about how quick? Because you were like, oh, I've only read a couple chapters. And then very quickly, within a matter of days, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm about to where you guys are on the podcast, which was chapter 32.
I love it.
And so can you tell us about that?
That's true. I am a very... well, when I start reading something, I can't put it down. If it actually interests me, then I'm just going to keep reading and reading and reading. And it's a bad habit, but a habit that doesn't really matter when you're retired. I can stay up late and read into the night and sleep till 10 if I want to the next morning. It doesn't matter. But yes, I got way ahead of you guys and finished the book before you got your podcast out.
Nice. Yeah. It was pretty impressive how quick she went.
It's a hard book to put down. She didn't have the same restrictions. I think, Kyle, you had the hardest restrictions out of all of us. With just the schedule and the content and the pace that we're able to come out with the podcast and stuff just for all of our listeners out there and for our moms. Kyle was really the one that's I think had the most struggle because, gosh, putting down some of those chapters and having to wait a week to read it, I couldn't do it personally, but I already knew the story, so I had a lot of appreciation for Kyle's restraint and for his discipline. And since we're obviously here with the moms, we all know where that comes from. Everybody, it comes from nurture or nature, and we got both in the room right now. So I think that's pretty great. Yeah, I had to go. Kudos to Kyle.
Well, thank you. Well, Christopher's mom, that actually leads me to a question for you. So can you tell me, and we can swing this back to my mom as well, but can you tell me what you thought when Christopher first told you or you first heard that we were doing a podcast? That's part A. And part B, could you talk about things that you saw in Christopher as he was growing up that you think have lended well to him being what I consider a fantastic podcast host?
Okay, well, so what did I think? I was very excited. I also didn't have a clue of what Christopher knew about creating a podcast. I mean, you just can't create a podcast without any knowledge. And so where was he getting that knowledge? How was he going to learn how to do this and do it properly? So, I mean, that's really impressive, to take on a task like that, cold turkey. I mean, so I was very impressed, but I was also very excited because I have loved the books that I have read. There's not one that I have not enjoyed. And they're all so different that and then I have this resource that I can text all the time and say, what about this and what about that? And my resource is Christopher. But Chris has been enjoying fantasy reading since he was a small child, and actually it took me a while to get into it. I was reading a lot of technical nonfiction books, and then because Christopher had liked Robert Jordan so much and had started reading Robert Jordan in grammar school, I picked it up and I started reading, and as you know, we all read the 14th book together, because Brandon finished it, and that was really special. That allowed Chris and I to have a connection that was different than anything else, and certainly different than my other children. And we have this special bond related to fantasy literature, and it's really fun. It's really fun, and so I'm appreciating it as an opportunity to have this special relationship with my son.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Do you want to answer the same question? Do you remember them?
I just remember not being very surprised that you would take on such a task, because if I got surprised by everything you decided to do in life, I would, need to be on nerve medication. So, I wasn't surprised that you'd want to take on something like this. Now, I have to say, when I heard what the book was, I was like, okay, not my cup of tea, but I need to be supportive of my son. So, I guess I'm going to be reading this book, Mistborn. But then when I started reading it, like I said, I couldn't put it down. I loved it. So, I think it's a great series. I've got the second book at home and I'm ready.
Yeah, nice. I'm excited too. Oh, that's great. No, I love that. And then, did you did you read any kind of? I have a question for you, Kyle's mom. Did you read any books to him, kind of growing up? Any books that really stood out, or any kind of activities like that you think could have maybe inspired this interest in fantasy for him?
I don't really think so. He was probably, he would have been at maybe first grade when the Harry Potter books hit the airways, and my oldest son, I couldn't say that. My oldest son, boop, boop. My oldest son had just had some surgery, and so we would lay in his bunk bed together, and I started reading the Harry Potter books to him as he recuperated. And so as far as Kyle goes, I would say no. I did not read him any fantasy books. He got that all his own.
Well, and I think, but from him, from my brother as well, I think, you reading those to him, he got very interested in them.
Yes.
And then he wanted to, he would get the book, the hardcover, the really nice hardcovers from Christmas. I think from usually grandma maybe got each one as they came out.
Yes.
For him. And, so he wants anything that he was interested up until a certain age, I was interested in. So right. I think that is a natural progression of you introducing him to it, did introduce it to me,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I read a lot when I was a child, and I got in the habit. So did my mother. My mother was a very avid reader. So I got in the habit of reading out loud to my boys every night before they went to bed. And, when Harry Potter came around, the first book I read out loud, and they both fell asleep because it was late. And I went upstairs and there's no way that I could put that book down. So I finished the book and then had to reread it out loud to them because there's just no way that I could not do that. And so the boys were exposed to lots of fantasy. I read C.S. Lewis, Chronicles of Narnia. I read all the Harry Potter books out loud. I read Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit out loud. So, you name it, Winnie the Pooh, all those books, all out loud to
Wizard
them.
of Oz books. Yeah.
They were exposed to,
Right.
and it's all fantasy. It's all of it was fantasy.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I fell asleep for all the nonfiction ones, but
Yeah.
I think in our case, it's my boys that introduced me to the fantasy as opposed to
Awesome.
me introducing them.
oh, that's
For sure.
awesome. I love that. Well, it's really cool to see, and I think a fun theme from the book we could even tie into is that the older generations giving information and lessons to the new, right? Kelsier mentoring Vin and kind of helping her learn how to make friends. Because she comes from a very troubled past, where Vin also is teaching Kelsier things, right? And re-examining his relationship with his deceased wife. And how he thought she had betrayed him, but in actuality, with Vin's perspective, he found out that she really hadn't, which was really cool. And so I think that's a nice sentiment, right? That like we can always learn from our young ones as much as they can learn from us. So that's pretty fun. I just wanted to call out. I was seeing that congruency there, and I liked it. Well, cool. Well, I think we got a couple good general survey questions. I guess here I'll keep the ball rolling. We'll start this one off with Christopher's mom, and then follow up with Kyle's mom. Who is your favorite character from Mistborn and the Final Empire? And as a fun little bonus question, and who would you absolutely not want to spend time with in real life?
So my favorite character is Vin, very clearly, and I think Brandon did a really excellent job with character development for her character, because you learn so much about her. You really feel like you know her, and you know what she's thinking, and you know what she's going to do based on the information that you've been given. So she would be my favorite. I think right now, the character that I like the least.
You wouldn't want to spend time with.
I wouldn't want to spend time with the Lord Ruler, but I also wouldn't want to spend. I wouldn't want to spend any time with any of the Inquisitors. But the other character that I wouldn't want to spend any time with is Ellen's father.
Straff. Nasty.
Straff Venture.
Nasty Straff.
Yeah, really bad guy.
Yeah.
I have no positive thoughts about him at all.
Totally. All right. And how about Kyle's mom? What do we got?
I totally agree with exactly everything she just said. I thought Vin was an awesome character. Just from the beginning, and how the character developed through the book was just enchanting, really. How she got her confidence and everything. But I have to give a shout out to Kelsier too, because I think he was an excellent anti-hero.
Yes.
His sacrifice at the end was, I was not expecting that at all. It was a big twist.
Yeah. Oh, agreed. I loved it. It was I thought one of the best twists. I was so, I think when Kyle, just to because a lot of my experience of this podcast was just living it through Kyle's lens through the first time. And when Kyle had said oh, we read this whole book about this guy, and for a lot of it, when Kyle was talking oh, well, we think this concept of the hero age is it's Kelsier, and I gotta keep my mouth shut. I know what's gonna happen at the end of the book, and I'm I agree though. When I was there, I was yeah, he's gotta be the hero of ages. And I think it's really great how Brandon shifts the paradigm on us, and we're, really seeing that it's not Kelsier. We don't know who it is. We've got 2 more books in the trilogy to figure out who it could be, but it's really fun to just see like Vin shine as a character. Some of the other characters shine. I really liked how I got so attached to Kelsier, and then it was time to let go. It was really shocking, and so I didn't anticipate it. I was thinking, 3 books with Kelsier and Vin and the team, and nope, that's not what we're gonna get. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. Kyle, how about you? Who is your favorite character, and who would you absolutely not want to spend time with in real life?
I think as an honorary mention, I'm going to say Marsh, just because I owe him the biggest apology. I really shit on that guy
You
hard.
did.
I was
did.
convinced that he was like a backstabbing, working for the enemy guy, and he was not. He made some pretty big sacrifices himself to see the Empire fall, and so that's like an honorary mention that I'm gonna just have to put out there. I don't know. I think I'm conflicted about a couple, but I really actually do enjoy, while he's kind of an idiot, I think, and maybe we'll see him progress out of that. I loved all the scenes with Elend.
Yes.
And I think him being kind of a, young teeny bopper, like trying to figure his way in the world, and he's dealing with all the stuff with his dad, and he's dealing with obviously now running an empire and being in charge, and seeing him navigate this awkward teen romance was a lot of fun. And I know we kind of, or at least I did, I kind of poo-pooed on him a lot too, but it was but it was fun. Like he says some stuff and has, I think, some interesting development, and it was kind of fun to follow along. So,
well, but he also is very different than everybody else. I mean, he's a bookworm, and none of the other characters in the band were big readers, and that's all he did was read books. He and his buddies then would talk about what they read and make plans, and imagine what things could be like. But there's not another character among all of them that is book smart like he is.
Except for Sazed, but Sazed's more like encyclopedia.
Yeah, that's a different kind of.
He's got it all
smart.
stored up in there.
Fact oriented.
Yeah, for sure.
But Sazed stores.
Exactly, that's what I mean. He's just he's like a storage bank for it all.
Yeah.
Versus he's a USB.
Right.
Versus Ellen is more of a consumer. Awesome. I'd say favorite character for me on this read through. I really loved all of the scenes with Sazed and his characters would come to him and say, give me another religion, Sazed, and just him kind of carefully picking all these made up religions, right, to give to people. It really is almost like guidance in whatever space that they're in, right? Kelsier was looking for a certain answer from Sazed, and same with Vin. And I just really liked his attention to detail there, and trying to give his friends and his companions hope, and or either hope or just a guiding star. So I loved Sazed for that. I would not want to spend time with Shan. Don't worry, don't have to. She gone. But yeah, wouldn't want to spend a second with her. I didn't like her very much. I don't think anybody
she
does.
was nasty.
Yeah, she wasn't fun. All right. Well,
so
nice.
I have a question. So to the moms, and so I think this might be easier for Kyle's mom as opposed to Christopher's mom, because Christopher's mom's going to have to think back to maybe the first time she read this. But maybe when you did your reread, maybe it surprised you again. What was something that, I know you were surprised by the way things ended with Kelsier. Were there any other big twists, or kind of counter to that, were there any predictions that you had in your head of how something was going to go and you were just completely off?
That was kind of you.
What do you mean?
You being completely off.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I would read the chapters that I needed to for the podcast, and then the podcast would start, and I'd be like, what is he saying? I didn't get that. I did not get that at all. But I was trying to be, maybe he was seeing something that I wasn't seeing. But, yeah.
I loved it. No, I loved Kyle's theories. I thought they were, some very interesting ones. Some, some came to fruition. I have to say, he had some very good inklings early on. He was picking up a lot of kernels, and some were just a little different, a little original, and they were great. I loved it. How about you, Mom?
Well, I really didn't imagine that Vin was going to murder Lord Ruler. I mean,
Right.
Sure.
I did not think, but I think the reason I didn't think it was because I couldn't figure out how she could possibly do it, because of his power and because he was in her head all of the time, and I just until it clicked in her mind of how he was using Feruchemy, did she understand how she could kill him? She didn't know until the last minute how she could do it. And so I was very surprised, because I thought it was going to be Kelsier, or I didn't even suspect the first time I read it that he was going to be killed.
Sure.
Because Kelsier was dead, but I thought it was going to go on with him still being alive. I just did not imagine he was going to be dead.
Right. I think what kind of lends itself to that with these books is the fact that it's a trilogy, right? Like, you expect we're not going to defeat what you think is the greatest evil in the book or in the world at the end of the first book. You read the Lord of the Rings, which is a trilogy, and the Dark Lord Sauron is not going to be defeated until the end. And that's, if anyone needs a spoiler alert on that, then I can't help you. But, but it's, so I think I would totally agree with you that I was surprised that it happened. I figured he would, I don't know, teleport away, or, kill most of them, and then someone's got to come back at the through the next couple books to defeat him again, or something like that. So I think I just agree with you 100% on that.
Well, and I think it was interesting because when she was talking to Sazed in the epilogue, and actually before that, when she ripped the bracelets off his arms, he shriveled up and shrunk, but he wasn't dead. And so Sazed had to tell her that he wasn't dead, which is why she then picked up the dagger and stabbed him in the heart. It was, I thought it was brutal, but and she, I don't think that she knows enough or is mature enough to understand what the consequences of her act was, or are, or were, or was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well said.
Because nobody understands what's going on.
Well, right, and his kind of last words to.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I gotta go and look those up.
Well,
Nice.
to her.
Yeah. Let me see if I
You
can-
you don't know what I do for humans.
Right.
Essentially, is what he's paraphrasing it
for the world.
He's saying,
Right.
and insinuating that he's doing it continuously every day, all day.
Right.
Yeah, that they're doomed without him.
Yeah. Right. And because we just don't understand it.
Yeah, doomed without him, and we definitely don't understand them. Yeah, essentially, dooming Vin, stating that she had doomed, everybody else to something that he was keeping at bay, which is really interesting because, I think when we look at it, right, all the passages that we've read about this person that's holding something back at bay actually wasn't the Lord Ruler. That's written by the person Rashek killed, and Rashek takes his place at the last second. So they were both aware of this greater evil, this thing that we still have kind of like more to learn about. So I think it's interesting. It sets up. I mean, I do kind of like to come back to I think the book ends well. I'm happy, it ends. She got what she always wanted, right? It ends really nicely, kind of tied up in a bow. But there's so many questions, right, still out there, and so many loose ends that it really does set it up nicely for a second book as well. So it's exciting.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
it's exciting. Yeah. All right.
Do you have one, or I got another question ready if you?
Let's see here. I like some of these ones. Okay. As a mom, this is to the moms. How did you feel about some of the mentor-student relationships, like Kelsier and Vin? Let's start with Kyle's mom.
What was the question?
So, as a mom, and having given mentor relationships throughout Kyle's life, how did you feel about the relationship of the mentor and the student that we see in the book? An example being Kelsier and Vin, but also like Sazed and Vin. Sazed's a mentor to Vin, and what were your thoughts, or how did you feel about that?
Well, actually, when I first started reading the book, I kind of thought that maybe Kelsier and Vin were going to end up being a couple.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, there's some good theories out there about that.
Yeah, it doesn't, because at first it doesn't really say what their age differences or whatever. So I kind of thought maybe they were going to be a couple, but mentoring absolutely is a part of parenting, and giving advice, helping out, knowing what to say, when to say it, and when not to say it. So it was fun to watch, or fun to read about.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and I would say, I'd be really interested in sitting down and having a conversation with Brandon Sanderson about parenting, and what his experience was growing up, because I think there is not one example that's described of a good parent-child relationship. Certainly not Kelsier and Marsh. Certainly not Ellen. Certainly not Vin.
Yeah.
But I think what did come through was sibling relationship and sibling trust and love. Really came through a lot. But boy, I don't think he had much use certainly not for mothers, because there was not a mother that was, well described or, really admired, I would say.
Not
Makes you wonder about his childhood.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the one that comes to mind, just because I'm a big student of the book, the one kind of fatherly figure that we see a little bit from the outside, I thought was Hammond, and how he put his family first, his family's safety first, as much as he could. He had a hard job. He didn't get to spend time with them. He didn't get to kind of do that thing. But I do think that he is depicted in the best way out of all of the fathers and mothers with their children in the series. Otherwise, I think you're absolutely right. There isn't a good parent child relationship in this series. I think in other ones there could be, but it's a lot. I think that's a lot of where it comes from. So yeah, no, that's a great call out. I like that. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We certainly didn't see strong relationships in that regard. So,
and Kyle and Christopher had those strong relationships.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Right.
So
that's right.
That's a very good point.
Weren't able to relate, but it was not. It was.
I mean, there's a reason.
To read about.
There's a reason we thank the moms every podcast.
Every podcast. That's right. That's right. Thanks, moms. Shout out. You're already here.
Do you know what I told Kyle today in the car?
Oh, what's that?
I told him that he may have gotten his good looks from his father, but he got his award-winning personality from me.
Yeah. I like that. I second that for sure. Yeah,
She
I
did
love
say that.
I believe it. Oh, that's good. That's really fun. And I think, definitely in our family, in our lineage, we always like to talk about. I had a close relationship with my grandmother as well, and certain things we always said skip a generation.
My mother would tell Christopher that he got his sense of humor from her, and that it had skipped a generation.
Skipped moms. Some little joke they used to say there. But certain things did not, for sure. Certain things, the apple didn't fall too far from the tree on certain traits. So, yeah, definitely this love of fantasy, I think, is clearly, cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. So,
All right.
Okay, so speaking of traits, I'm interested for the moms, if thinking of the allomantic metals that you know about in the first book, what's a allomantic metal that you would like to be able to burn and a power that you'd like to be able to have?
Ooh, if they were like mistings?
Yeah, if you were, a misting and you could only have one power. So just as a reminder for moms and for everyone listening, we're thinking burning steel to push metal, burning iron to pull metal, burning pewter to, become strong and, strong like bull, burning tin to increase your senses and what you can hear and see, zinc, you're writing people's emotions, brass, you're soothing people's emotions, and copper hides your allomancy, and bronze finds allomancy. So just wondering if you have an idea of something that you would like.
Which is the one that let them travel quickly and like almost fly?
So that would be a mixture usually between pushing and pulling on metal. So that would be steel and iron. I would say steel kind of gets you in the air, but then iron pulling is kind of what's giving you the stability as you fly.
Yeah, I would like that.
You'd like to fly?
Because I would like to fly to a lot quicker.
You'd like to fly to an unknown location a lot quicker to see us.
Yeah,
along the spikeway,
right.
like someone put a bunch of spikes in the ground, and you can do your pushes and pulls. I love it. That's awesome. How about you, Mom? What do you think?
Well, I'd like actually tin and brass.
Interesting.
That's what I'd like.
How come? What draws you to them?
I think the ability to soothe the crowd, soothe the people that may be getting ready to throw persimmons at you, or rotten eggs. would be a very useful thing to have.
Yeah.
And then tin to enhance your senses.
Right.
I would love that because I think that my relationship with the outside world it has become more honed since I've been in retirement. And so I'm really enjoying all my senses more because I'm, outdoors and appreciating nature and being able to pick up on sounds and smells and sights that I never would have had the opportunity to do before. So I'd love a little tin.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right. How about you, Kyle?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna take the cheap answer out. I think I'll just go full Mistborn. A little bit of everything.
Nice.
That way, I don't have to pick one now, and I can really hone in on a single craft later once I've tried them all out.
I love it. I've got an extra little bonus one for you because we didn't include any of the ferrochemical powers. I think special mention. A copper mind would be so cool. As I was a history major, in my younger years, and I love information. I love stories. I love sharing stories, and I think that's really cool, and I would love to do that. But if I had to choose a elementic power, I think the choice that I would have liked the most would have probably have been like the lurchers. So they're the ones that pull the metal to them, and they have like, we didn't see very many. We saw a lot of coin shots, but I like that one. It's kind of like a defensive metal, and I just always think like tactically that's a position I like to be in. So that was one that was interesting to me.
Nice. Yeah, that's...
Christopher, you already have the soothing power.
Thank you.
It's just your personality.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been working on my brass and my copper. My brass and what is the other one?
That's Gift to Generation too.
That's Gift to Generation. Yeah, for sure. Grandma had good soothing elements.
Noted.
For sure. Yeah. That's fun. All right. Well, let's see here. This is a fun little one they have here. So, has anyone in the podcast come up with alternate mom-approved titles for Mistborn? Here's some examples. I don't know. This question might be a wash, but I think it's funny. So many secrets, so little sleep. Or Vin, the girl who couldn't catch a break. Or boys and their metal fixation. So any kind of like nicknames for the book kind of come up to you all when you were reading it? Like, oh, we're going to read Kyle's, metal book again. I don't know. Something like that. I'll direct this, at Kyle's mom first.
Oh, I think the one you just said before, Vin can't catch a break. That poor girl.
Yes. Oh, totally. I couldn't agree with you more there. How about you? Mom?
Well, I mean, I think we see an entire society that can't get to break.
Yes, right.
That's true.
All of the characters, every last one of the characters can't catch a break. Right. Life is hard.
Yeah.
In this place where they're living,
right.
Life is really hard, and I guess maybe it's not hard for the nobleman, but for everybody else, life's really tough.
Yeah. Truth.
Well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up with a couple quick like rapid fire questions just to the moms.
Love it.
Key takeaways from each of you. So I'll ask you each question kind of in success here. So first one, what's one thing you're gonna take away with you from reading Mistborn? Go. Anybody?
I think that my takeaway is that I'm going to read more books like this. I'm enjoying it.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I would say, I'm all of the books that I have read, I just have to keep asking Chris, okay, well, so now what's coming out next? When do I need to order another book? Because I'm up to date. So either Brandon has to write faster, or I've got to do something else.
He's writing Mistborn Era 3. So
well, if he could actually, just for the podcast's sake, if he could slow down so we could catch up a little bit, that would actually be more ideal for me. But I understand. So each has their own woes.
Yeah,
so
teach their peach.
So second rapid fire question: what's one thing you're going to take away from the podcast?
Ooh.
For me, it's total pride in Christopher and Kyle. I think they've done an amazing job for their first time, their first, get-go. I couldn't be more proud of both of them for doing such an awesome job, and I look forward to more.
That was a sweet one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I think that I just have had such a good time. I look forward to Tuesday.
Yes. And since we live away from our sons, it's nice to hear their voices.
Yeah. Well, and then I have to be very careful because I will make comments and I didn't appreciate for a little while that Chris didn't see any of them. Kyle was getting my little responses and may not have understood what I was talking about.
He sent me some screenshots. It was good. No, it was good. Well, that's
okay. Fun. And then last but not least, so up to this point, at least Kyle's mom, my mom, you kind of waited and like read the book kind of as we were going through the podcast, and then you finished the book a little before we finished, which is fine. Do you think you're going to wait for us to start the second book of the Mistborn trilogy and start the podcast before you start reading? Because I know, knowing you and what you've said today and what we talked about in the past, that you're not going to be able to put it down. So, does it make sense to wait for us to even start the podcast, or do you think you should just start the book now because you're interested?
No, I'm going to wait for the podcast. It's easier to follow along and get somebody else's perspective besides mine, because obviously from the very beginning, Kyle and I were thinking completely differently. So I am going to follow along like a good girl. I won't read ahead.
Oh,
and I will
changing it up.
I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to read what I'm told to read and then listen to the podcast.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
And since I've already read it, that it's kind of a moot point. But it was. So I'll be back visiting Christopher in a month, and then I can take a look at the second volume of the series. I'm not going to look now. I'll look at the second volume because I really am enjoying seeing the artwork. The artwork is extraordinary.
Yeah,
and
nice
that's
copies.
that, and you don't get that when you're listening to a book.
That's true.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. Well, Christopher, any last questions or thoughts from you?
No, just what a great bonus episode with the moms here. I think that was a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to reading The Well of Ascension, the next book in season 2, Shards and Shenanigans. I think we'll see if we're gonna keep the exact same format. I think we're gonna try to introduce some new stuff for our fans. I know we've been talking about maybe like getting some new art and working on maybe the model and seeing if we want to do it chapters by chapters or what. We're brainstorming. The fires are burning in the workshops of Shards and Shenanigans. So we're hoping to deliver something special and something great. So, mostly just looking forward to getting to read with you more and have these podcasts with you. It's also something I look forward to very much. So I can resonate with that.
Yeah. Well, I certainly appreciate you and everything you've done for this podcast, and I think that I certainly have had a lot of fun working on it together and reading the books and getting to spend the time with you. So, thank you, but most importantly, thanks, moms.
Thanks, moms. Absolutely.
We love you.
Thanks, moms. We love you.
You're the best. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy retired schedules to get on with us today and record this little bonus episode.
You'll be getting my bill.
Yeah. By the minute she charges, guys.
Yes.
So
Perfect.
But we appreciate you both, and obviously love you a lot, and thank you for everything. And we, I think our listeners are hopefully going to enjoy this as well as a fun bonus. Hopefully we'll get it put together and get it out to you guys here shortly, a couple weeks or so. So
yeah, Misty boys, Misty moms, signing out. Shards and Shenanigans. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
for listening.
Okay, so since you can edit, you can take all the rest of what I say out.
This?
Right?
Do you want to say?
Sure.
No,
do
I
you
just
want
want
to
to
say bye
say
to
it was
the people
really.
first?
I was
Do you want
really.
to say goodbye first?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Because we could edit the part before and then we're good. Like this. We'll edit this out. Beep.
Bye.
Perfect. That's perfect. Okay.
But what I really wanted to say is that it was really nice to see your mom.
Oh,
we can leave that in.
You know, I it's a pleasure to see you again, and we're having fun. So
we are having fun.
Let's keep doing it.
I love your son very much. I think he's a wonderful human being. You did such a good job raising him. And the fact that Kyle and Christopher have become such good friends, married to sisters, really warms my heart.
Yeah.
Well, we're both very lucky, and
we are.
Yeah, and guess what? They're lucky too.
Yeah, I like that part.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're just going to leave all that in. Love you guys.
Yeah, love you guys.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you.
Okay,
Ah.
bye.
Bye. Love you guys.